just dormant. I had to quit baseball. Thankfully, I didn't have to quit school entirely because those two things are like, the two things that I put my life into was baseball and school. I was in the bed 20 out of the 24-hour days. That hit me. Frustration hit me, like everything hit me. And I didn't know if I was ever going to get back to normal. Going through that first little, recovery jumpstart of the first month of May really gave me confidence in that you can keep on pushing yourself. I was understanding why I was having the symptoms, first of all, and I was understanding how I could make a plan to get better. It was incredibly helpful. It was exactly what I needed as well. I just didn't have a plan. And Junior was always that person that I could go to.
How's it going, Thrivers? Miguel here from CFS Recovery. In this video, we have Carson, who's had such an amazing journey up to this point. He's dealt with, a lot of these debilitating symptoms for a handful of years. It was about 6 years before he found us. He was dealing with fatigue, brain fog, high heart rate with lots of pot symptoms, insomnia, and a few other things. And right before he found us, he was just getting by. He was still kind of going to classes. He had to hit the brakes on a lot of different areas of life. And really, he's come such a long way because now he is studying for pharmacy school. He's working, he's exercising, running, absolutely crushing it. So Carson, you want to quickly introduce yourself to everybody on here watching right now?
Yeah, I'm Carson Todd. I from Conway, South Carolina, 22 years old, and I'm heading off to pharmacy school in August. Just some things about me.
Yeah. And let's go back in time here like we do for all these videos. I think you guys are going to get a lot of golden nuggets from this one. How did this all start? So this started back in March 2018, right? Did you just like hit a wall, or it was a slow burn over time? How did that process go for you?
So it was kind of like the perfect storm when I went and saw a doctor in for Duke Medical Center. They said that there was a perfect storm of stuff. So I already had a low immune system. On top of that, I had two steroid shots, and then some other circumstances around. I was going through puberty at the time, so my hormones were fluctuating. And while all of this was going on, I got hit with the Epstein-Barr virus, mono. And when that happened, it was like what they said. It was just a perfect storm. And what it left me with was chronic fatigue syndrome. So that's all of, that's kind of the information in a nutshell for how exactly I came into the place of having chronic fatigue.
And how did it look like? How was that showing up for you in daily life? Was it just like starting with getting more tired, you're dragging more throughout the day, and then the quality of life just started dropping over the years?
So for me, it was kind of an instant thing. It was very instantaneous. Like a week before, I was getting up early before school, going to work out. I would go to school. After school, I would have baseball practice. After baseball practice, I would study. And then it went from that. And then when I got the monovirus to afterwards, just I couldn't do anything. That first, especially six to 9 months, where I wasn't even on any medications, like nothing to even ease anything. I was in the bed 20 out of the 24-hour days. I could do maybe an hour of schoolwork just to push through and get through that last semester of my fall, of my freshman year of spring semester, my bad. And it was really bad. And then so I went from that active lifestyle to a lifestyle of just dormant. I had to quit baseball. Thankfully, I didn't have to quit school entirely because those two things are like, the two things that I put my life into was baseball and school. But yeah, baseball, I had to stop playing, which now recently I've been playing slow pitch softball with my church. So it's just a full circle moment. It's been great.
That's epic. That is epic. And how did you know it was like really serious? Like when you had to quit baseball, you were just way too symptomatic no matter what. Like I'm pretty sure you probably tried pushing through and tried keeping up, but really your body just said no and hit a wall.
Yeah. What really hit me though, Miguel, it was a year later when I finally got the diagnosis of like chronic fatigue syndrome. We went and found a specialist that deals with this. up in North Carolina, and he told me the of what they expected like a recovery process to look like, and he said 5 to 7 years. And just doing the math, I would be out of high school, and I knew I wasn't good enough to play college ball, Anyway, so like that was the end of me playing baseball. Like that's just all I did, and that hit me. Frustration hit me, like everything hit me. You can ask my parents. Like I came home and I think I went fishing with like just like a high heart rate and everything. It was hot outside and I didn't care. I just crashed. But yeah, that's when it hit me where I knew my life was going to be different from that point forward,
Mhm.
and I didn't know if I was ever going to get back to normal.
Yeah, yeah. And how early into your illness was that? Was that like within the first year you got
Yeah,
diagnosed?
first year. Yeah, first year, because in order to get diagnosed through him, you have to have it for at least a year, like all of the symptoms and whatnot. But yeah,
hmm So what was the next step after that? After you got the diagnosis and he kind of lays out what the future looks like, what did you do?
maintaining, getting to a somewhat maintainable spot so I could keep on doing school. That was our focus. Through medicine, I was able to get to a somewhat balanced way of life. It wasn't balanced, but like I got to be able to do school. And
hmm
even though I had a lot of symptoms, I wasn't there for most of the days. I remember like my junior year of high school, I was in three AP classes, which like cognitive symptoms brought on a lot or cognitive stimulus brought on a lot of symptoms for me. So I would be there
hmm
one day and then I wouldn't be there another day. And then whenever people would see me in school, I'd be on the ground, like taking a nap. And they're like, is he okay? And they're like, no, it's fine.
hmm
So that was basically my life. Through medicine, it did allow me to get through school up until a
Yeah.
certain point.
Yeah. What was that like, being that young and getting that kind of diagnosis and having that future laid out for you? Because I got this when I was 19 years old and I was about a year, maybe actually a couple years out of high school. But I can't imagine going through that in high school when
Yeah,
everybody else is healthy, they're doing all this fun stuff, they're playing sports,
yeah.
and you had to go through your last few years of high school with this illness. So, like, what was going through your mind that time?
I had a very optimistic mindset. I don't think I ever got totally down over it. Although I did distract myself a lot. Like I would watch TV shows. Like it was amazing how many TV shows I went through, and I don't remember now because I was so symptomatic I couldn't remember anything. YouTube, like I watched a lot of stuff just to cope with it. So um, it was a lot of numbing with that, with like that, with just like entertainment to numb whatever bad feelings I was having. Um, Staying optimistic, even though I didn't know what my future looked like. I always have the
hmm
optimistic mindset, which if I didn't, I would have just stayed in the bed. So I think that's
hmm
what pushed me. Um,
Yeah.
but it sucked. It sucked. I remember going to senior night. All the like all my baseball friends that I played baseball with, like seventh, eighth, and even like growing up in general, I was able to go to their senior baseball night, and it hit me that night just watching them play, and knowing that I would have been out there if I had not gotten sick. And yeah, that was that was kind of like a reflection moment in my life, but it was good.
hmm That's probably like when reality hits you, like, wow, like
Yeah.
my life went down a different path. Like I would be there, life would be so different, but I'm watching
Yes.
from the sidelines. And
Yes.
it, I guess it's kind of like metaphorical for life too, because you feel like you're sitting on the sidelines of life while everybody
Yeah.
is talking about which university they're going to go to, where they're going to
Yeah.
dorm, where they're going to travel. But you're like, I can't even do that, even if I
Yeah.
wanted to. Right. So, what kind of stuff did you try to fix this thing? You mentioned some medications. Tell us a bit more about
Medications.
that and like what worked, what didn't work, other things you tried.
I tried so 1 year before trying this program, I tried a different program. Um, it was Lime Stop. Great people over there. Like I cannot say enough good things. I think theirs was more so for like Lyme's disease, but
Mhm.
it was like an off the wall treatment, and I think it helped me with my heart rate issues. What like whatever they did, I don't even know how to describe it. Whatever they did, it did help alleviate some of my heart rate palpitations and stuff. But fatigue was still there, brain fog was still there, insomnia was still there, all that stuff.
Mhm.
But other than that, and medications, I mean, I've tried like breath work, like just what's the word, like meditating, I guess you could say, like deep breaths in and out.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
Wim
yeah,
Hof method or box
yeah,
breathing or yeah, there's a lot of
something
different
like
ones.
that. Yeah, just like getting up in the morning trying to slow my heart rate down.
Mhm.
Um, Other than that, no, yeah, that was about it. I just toughed through a lot of it.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, what were your parents thinking? Because they actually run a pharmacy, right? They have a medical
Yeah,
background.
yeah,
So, what was that like? And they were probably with you every step of this journey, trying to figure
yeah,
this out along with you.
yeah,
So, what was
yeah.
going through there?
Both of my parents are pharmacists as well, and growing up, I did have like a low immune system. So their first reaction to whenever I would get sick or something would come up was we have a medicine for that, and it worked. And then all of a sudden, I get this chronic illness, and then they try to throw medicine at it, and it's like, oh, he's still down. Like we don't know what to do. And my dad did a lot of research into a lot of different things. He's the person that my dad actually had me diagnosed before I was even diagnosed because he did so much research on it. He was like, he has chronic fatigue syndrome.
Mhm.
So that was just like a funny moment to look back on. Um, my mom was there with the like emotional, like nurturing side. She didn't let me see it, but I mean, like I like afterwards, after getting better, she's like, Carson, there was times where like I'd go down your stairs and just weep, like I didn't know what to do, which
Yeah.
hurts my heart. But yeah, they were definitely broken. They were just they didn't know what to do. Yeah,
Mhm. I
and their whole
rem
entire idea was just to get me through schooling. So if I could just get through schooling and get through pharmacy school somehow with this illness, then they could help me out at the pharmacy because they own their own independent pharmacy. So that was
Mhm.
their mindset, you know.
Yeah. And I remember meeting them too. They're amazing, lovely people, and that they care so much about you. I remember when we first met, it was me, you, and both of them. And I could tell it like they just felt like they had exhausted all resources. They tried everything, they did the research, but luckily they found our channel.
Yep.
And they don't really teach the stuff in medical books
Yep.
or in the mainstream medicine. So was it you who found us first or they
Yeah,
found
I
it
was. Yeah.
you? Yeah,
I
it was you.
remember it distinctively. 2021. It was my fall semester of my freshman year in college, and I found like an ad or something because I was going through. Now we know and understand as a adjustment period, but back then I was like, man, I just crashed. I was going
Crashed. Yeah.
through one of them, and whenever I'd go through one of them, I couldn't do a whole lot, so I would get on and research about chronic fatigue syndrome, trying to find a solution. And I came across a video of yours, and it's so funny because I was in the process of like signing up and like doing the things that you do to make sure that you're a good fit for this program. And I came to the question of would you be able to put a lot of time into it? And I was like, I'm not because I'm full time in school. Like I'm crashing, I'm not crashing, you know. So I almost signed up for it back in 2021. Um, I'm thankful that I didn't though, and I actually had a whole year to really pour into this program with no schooling.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that was my first time uh, interacting with your stuff online.
Yeah, yeah. Also, it was way back then when
Yeah, yeah,
when the channel was pretty early,
yeah.
and then
Um,
a, a few years go by, and
mhm.
your health isn't really getting better. You're either maintaining or even maybe getting a bit worse.
Yeah,
So when did
much
you
worse.
just or why did you? Yeah, a lot worse, right? Yeah, I think when you came on board right before that, you had to stop school, right?
Yes, yes.
Stop school. Were you taking online classes at that time?
I was not taking online classes at that time, but when
Yeah.
I got on board was May of last year. So I was finishing up some prereqs for pharmacy schools. My last two prereq classes that I needed for pharmacy
Mhm.
school. But yeah, it got much worse. I maintained, freshman year of high school all the way until freshman year of college, and then my sophomore year of college, it got much much worse. My POTS got worse. I had to end up dropping a class. I had to drop my undergraduate research. I took then a semester off campus and took two like elective classes just to keep my scholarships. And then I went back for a year, just taking two classes at a time, and I just got all my prereqs done. Um,
Mhm.
but I don't think that was your question, but that's where my
Yeah.
mind's at.
Yeah, no. Well, that's interesting because you discovered the channel like prior to you continuing to get worse. So why do you think you got worse? It was just you didn't have time to implement the stuff, or you know, you just tried pushing through. What do you think got you worse?
Maybe it was a
I mean, it's so
buildup.
hard to pinpoint. There's so
It,
many
it, it
different.
really is. Um,
Yeah.
I did make a switch in medication, from like one, it was propanolol to something else, Toprol, I think, and it didn't really help my heart rate. But I think in general, it was just a buildup of all my symptoms over 4 years at that point, and it just my body was just failing. Like I was not able to keep up. Ended up in like the ER. Like all these stuff like started to come on, and I said, okay, I got to stop the amount of schooling that I'm doing right now. So
Mhm. Yeah, you just couldn't tolerate it anymore. There's only so much you could push through, right? And
yes.
that's what I learned as well, because I think most people who get CFS, we actually have a pretty strong mindset, maybe even too strong, which is
Hmm.
maybe why we get this in the first place. We just push through and think, I'll just power through these symptoms. I'll just keep going. Eventually my body will catch up. But it's like the opposite. I drove myself into the ground with that mindset until I was forced to stop everything.
Hmm.
So uh, you came on board last May, which is over a year ago, right?
Hmm.
About 14, 15 months ago. And what was that first few months like? And what were the biggest changes you noticed in those first few months, like coming in using this recovery system?
Stuff clicked. Stuff clicked. That's the biggest. That's the biggest thing for me is I was understanding why I was having the symptoms first of all, and I was understanding how I could make a plan to get better. And it was a lot simpler than what I thought it would be. It was a lot of brain retraining, but the first month or first couple months, it was learning exactly what was going on. Like if you would have um, a symptom of fatigue, it means that when you rest, you need to learn how to have a positive attitude when you rest. Like certain things like that, and certain symptoms that you like the symptoms that you have for a reason. Your brain is trying to tell you something. And
Yeah.
once I remind myself of that, then I was able to um, respond well to it because I
Mhm.
had the knowledge because knowledge is a big thing with me, obviously because of schooling. Um, but that's yeah, just understanding where all the symptoms come from and then how to respond to it was the biggest thing for me. And also
Mhm.
learning that crashes were not crashes; they were progress cycles, and they
Yeah.
were part of the process.
Yeah. Yeah. The crashes, most of the crashes that people, most of the flare-ups that people think are crashes are actually adjustment periods. And we really teach you guys to look at it in a different way, because really
Yeah.
it's an opportunity. It's like a springboard to get to the next level.
Yes.
It's like your body being sore from working out. Now it's just your nervous system that's sore. So yeah, understanding what's going on and why you're feeling the symptoms, and just being able to be less emotional about it and more logical, we
Mhm.
find that really, really helps people,
Yep.
and also realizing it isn't as complicated as it seems. So
Yep.
integrating or implementing the actual recovery strategies, that's probably a huge thing too, right? Because what kind of things were you able to do after, the first couple to first few months, that where you really noticed that progress was actually happening?
So over not this past summer or not this summer because we're still in summer, but last summer I was able to do an internship with my church, which was a great opportunity. and I was hesitant to even try and start it because I didn't know how my health would do. Um, but through going through this program through May, because the internship was June and July of 2024, going through that first little recovery jumpstart of the first month of May really gave me confidence in that you can keep on pushing yourself uh, to a certain degree. Because my biggest problem was I was, of course, black and white. I would either not do near enough or do way too much, way too fast, and
Hmm.
I would lean towards the side of doing nothing. So Junior was talking to me about it, and he was like, "No, do it. Like this sounds like a great opportunity. It's only like 2 days a week. Like you will have ample time to rest." Um, so doing that, started playing pickleball some, and even though I still had high heart rate playing pickleball, I still had fatigue, all that stuff. I was able to push through it and actually enjoy it. I was out there doing something.
Hmm.
So those were initial things that I was able to do.
Yeah, it's super helpful to have somebody there in your back pocket, almost like a safety net. So you had Junior that you could just message 5 days a week in case things got really shaky. He was able to go in there and adjust your plan, adjust what you're doing, either dial things back a little bit or actually pick things up based on where you're at. So how helpful was that, having access to like a personalized plan and just being able to message somebody to tweak what you're doing? Was that
It
helpful?
was incredibly helpful. It was exactly what I needed as well. Because when I was sick, I was like in the back of my head, I was like, I just need a plan. Like I need a plan to get better. I don't know the plan. I tried many plans, and I just didn't have a plan. And Junior was always that person that I could go to that would present me with a plan. First of all, like, hey, this is what you're going to do to expand activity in the cognitive area, the physical area, and then adjustments were made. But in general, just I don't know, like seeing a person on a consistent basis that was um, had the same exact illness as you, and he was there teaching you how to get better from it. Just that person there, uh, just knowing that you have that was a big help for, like a big helper to me, and to hear like some positive affirmations because like constantly. It's gotten better now. Obviously, I've gotten better with the emotional aspect of it. But in the beginning, man, it was a lot of like beating myself up. I would miss a meeting and I would beat myself up over it. I remember this one time I like missed a meeting, um, and I was beating myself up over it. And then I like get on with Junior for like my next one. I was like, man, I'm so sorry. Like I won't do it again. He was like, dude, calm down. It's okay. Like everyone has those times, and Junior has just been that guy for me. And I thank God for him honestly.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I don't. It's kind of nice knowing somebody is there who it's like a rock. Like no matter what, if whether you're freaking out or starting a downward spiral or you start doubting, this person's always going to be there, like to just calm you down or bring you
Yeah,
back to a more neutral level.
yeah,
And also it helps somebody you can trust, right? Because you start to develop a relationship with them because everything they say when you do it, it actually really works. So it's like
yeah.
you start outsourcing a lot of the decision making to somebody else that you trust who's been there. So for you, if you had to pick the top two or three, I guess, golden nuggets for recovery that if you could share it with somebody, you
Mhm.
feel it could really make a difference in their journey. And usually it's the top two or three things that helped you the most. Maybe it was a certain phrase or a certain, you know, analogy that you kept telling
Mhm.
yourself. Uh, Maybe the first one we'll start with, what did you tell yourself during adjustment periods, and how did you navigate those adjustment periods with as much grace as you could?
Yeah. Uh, it's all a part of the process, is what I would continue to tell myself, and especially during like adjustment periods. It's funny. The very first adjustment period, it's like all the knowledge that I had in this program just went out the window. Like the first day or two, I was back like I was like, oh my gosh, is this program not working? I just waste my like all this stuff starts coming up. But then I was like, wait, this is part of the process. Stupid. So it's all part of the process. Doing something is better than nothing. That was helpful. Um, Also, identifying exactly what is holding you back. I remember in the later parts of my recovery process, I was trying to get over um, what was it, like perfectionism, because that was holding me back a lot. And whenever I would be doing something productive, I was fine. I was like, hey, I'm doing something productive. Well, but there's many times in your life where you're not doing things productive, or you're not doing things that you deem or would deem as productive. Taking breaks and playing video games, taking a break and I don't know, going outside or something like that, I would deem as unproductive, and then I would have a negative mindset. So what I did to overcome that, I would play video games. And I did that specifically because every single time I'd go to play them, I would think that they were unproductive, that I was wasting my life, like all these negative emotions. Um, so I would purposely play video games with the intent of a positive mindset, saying
Mhm.
that it's okay to take rest, it's okay to do the things that you enjoy from time to time. Um, and doing that really got me over that perfectionism. Now I don't play video games barely at all, but it was a great tool to be able to get over that perfectionism complex. And whenever I feel like I'm being unproductive, I just remind myself of that. But also,
Mhm.
making sure you are being like productive enough. There's of course that balance, but I was having way negative thoughts when I was doing the things that I enjoyed.
Yeah. I used to do the same thing, and even now, I'll catch myself thinking when I'm on my way to an event or a dinner with friends, I'm like, what's the return on investment for this dinner with friends? And I'm just like, Miguel, stop that. Stop. Just go enjoy the freaking dinner. Okay. Don't even think about. And I'm like, how many YouTube videos could I have filmed in this 80-minute window? YouTube videos, 20 minutes per video. That's like four. And I'm like, no, no, get rid of that. Miguel, just go sit down and enjoy yourself. So I feel like it's such a deeply ingrained habit, but when you're
Yeah.
able to catch it and not let it spiral to the point where you're like beating yourself up over certain things, it just helps a lot. And it helps you get out of this extreme thinking, which now
Yep.
we know that's going to help stabilize your nervous system
Yep.
because it gets you out of this fight or flight mode that you always have to be doing something
Hmm.
productive. Because in a way, you could reframe video games to being productive. Like you're actually resting, giving your brain a break.
Yep.
So the next time you do some work or study, you'll be twice as effective
Yep.
because now it has extra juice in the tank, processing power or something, you know?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah. And were there any big aha moments for you where all of a sudden things really clicked? Like you really understood what responding well to symptoms meant, or um, any big moments where you had a huge jump in progress? Any of those
Um,
moments where things clicked for you?
I'd say the perfectionism thing that I just described with the video games was definitely an aha moment.
Hmm.
That's what got me, you know, like a solid 70%, which I don't like to, you base everything on numbers, but it helped me personally because I'm a math guy. Um, but that will help me go up to there, and then aligning your life values. So like in the very beginning, like from like 15% to 70%, I guess you'd say, in that first little beginning, a lot of it was just pushing myself, pushing. Have the adjustment periods, respond well, and responding well looked like for me for I had to get down to two things. One, my emotional response. So initially, adjustment period comes on. You wake up, you're fatigued when you're usually not, or something goes on, you don't sleep for the night. The first thing you do for me is respond well with your emotions. So it's not frustration. It's reminding yourself this is a part of the process. Be neutral. Be neutral. Because I mean, it's very hard to be positive in those moments, but just being neutral for me
Yeah.
was the key. Just keeping a
Yeah.
neutral mindset, letting the things happen, and just staying neutral with your emotions. And then two, identifying how severe the certain adjustment period was. So if it was really bad, then maybe I really need to like not do anything for that day. If it was semi, like in the middle of intensity, I would go out instead of doing a 15-minute walk, I do a five, something like that.
Hmm.
And knowing how to gauge that. Um, Another thing for me, aha moment was resting, like learning to be okay with resting. Because if you can't learn to be okay with resting, then you're not going to be able to get anything done. Because
Hmm.
all those negative thoughts and emotions would come in whenever I was resting, whenever I needed the rest. But that would just cause this further spiral down. I wouldn't get the hump. I would go back, you know, um, backwards. So those
Hmm.
were some key things for me. I'm sure there's more, but I really kept it simple with this process, which is unlike me. Usually I go to the nth degree, learning all the stuff, but really for this whole program, I didn't watch a whole lot of videos. I showed up to the integrations calls. I would have my one-on-ones. I'd ask questions here and there, and just doing that, and over time, it got me to this place. So
Hmm.
because like sometimes you can go into school into the classroom and be like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff, like I got to watch all of it. And I had the exact opposite response. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be the old Carson. I'm forming something new, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And that was the same thing with my doctor because he showed me all these drawings and drew all these charts and things like that. But in the beginning, I really only stuck to a couple different concepts. For me,
Yep.
it was that magnifying glass, realizing that when I'm flaring up, that magnifying glass, it's going to amplify all my symptoms and
Mm-hmm.
especially my negative thoughts. I'm going to have a
Yep.
lot more doubt and negative thoughts and question everything about recovery, but just knowing that that was going to happen, it kind of prepared me for that. So when it was happening, because yeah, like you said earlier, when that adjustment period hits, a lot of the knowledge goes out the window. So
Mm-hmm.
you're going to forget most of what you learned, but if you can stick to just one or two
Yep.
things and just hang on to that with
Yep.
as much as you can, it's really going to help because there are certain principles you can fall back on that don't really change no matter what. Like
Yep.
the stress threshold,
Mm-hmm.
and also learning to gauge how full is that threshold. Like,
Yep.
did I, how much did I stimulate my nervous system? Was it like up to here or here?
Mm-hmm.
And the more you stimulate it, the more symptoms you're going to feel. And based on
Mm-hmm.
that, you adjust your activity accordingly.
Yep.
Um, but then eventually you start to internalize all this stuff. And then your nervous system starts to trust you and your
Mm-hmm.
decision making. You're
Yep.
able to work together as a team versus like going into an AP, just crossing your fingers, hoping for the best, and
Yep.
like basically trying not to die or
Yeah.
trying not to end up in the hospital,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, how impactful was it being on calls with other people in similar situations as you and just being in some kind of community where you know you're not the only one going through this? Because I know it can be pretty lonely going on this journey.
Yeah, it can't be. And the whole community, I kind of regret not being more involved and not posting more almost during this whole process. So that would be another thing if someone was to do this program, like get the full experience, like post on a regular basis. I didn't. Um, but specifically the group calls is what helped me a lot because people would be sharing their wins. I would share my win. And automatically after I shared my win, it's like, a lot of my symptoms went down. I don't know why. It was something about reflecting on the progress that you have made, which alleviated some symptoms that you may be dealing with. Um, the topics covered. I mean, I remember like one time the topic was so good because he was going over every single specific like symptom. Like for example, just I have like my notes up here on the left. Like brain fog, your nervous system is saying that you have to learn that you don't have to be articulate all the time. You have to be okay with the moments that you are dumb. And I was not like that hit me like a ton of bricks because I feel like I always have to be articulate. I feel like I always have to be smart because I'm kind of known as this smart kid. Like that's one of the defining characteristics of people say is like, oh, that kid's very smart. And because of that, I put a lot of external pressure on myself to be articulate. But that's just one example of many other symptoms and what your nervous system is trying to convey to you.
Yeah.
The root cause. So yeah, the topics amazing. The questions as well. Listening to other people's questions because I didn't even know I had the question. And then just listening to that, learning through that, it was really really needed.
Hmm. Well, what you said about the the symptoms being linked to values earlier
Yeah.
and kind of what you just said here. It's so interesting once you're able to make that link because you realize that symptoms aren't random. This whole thing you're going through isn't random. It wasn't just bad luck. It's not
Yeah.
like this dropped out of the air in the universe and somehow cursed you. Because we
Yeah.
can feel like that in the beginning. There is no explanation. It's like, why am I going through this? Like I thought I did life right. I'm
Yeah.
out here working hard. You were out here getting scholarships, playing baseball, like really trying your best in good
Mhm.
intentions. So it's like, why is life doing this to me, basically? But then you realize, oh, there is an actual reason for this. It's not like my body's punishing me. It's just there's a kind of a glitch in the nervous system,
Yeah.
and we just have to fix that glitch. And
Yeah.
you don't feel like you're at war with your body anymore. You start to feel like you're on the same team with it, and you guys are solving the same problem, trying to fix this glitch,
Yeah.
this misfiring that's happening. So that helps a ton. So now that you're a lot more functional, yeah, maybe describe to us what kind of stuff are you doing now in your
So
life? In so many different buckets, but maybe physically, what is different now today than maybe a year or two ago? What can you do physically now?
I'm able just to live life and not worry about it. That's the biggest thing. Um, I've worked for the like just to give you an idea of my week so far. Monday I don't think I did a whole lot. I don't remember what I did. Well, anyways, Tuesday I worked all day, and then after I worked, I went and played a softball game. And then Wednesday, I got up. I like worked all day, and then I went to the church, and I had church, and just I did that without any thought. And that's the biggest thing. Is like sometimes I forget that I'm sick. Sometimes I forget that I even had symptoms in the first place. I'm forgetting what it felt like to even have symptoms, and that's the biggest change for me. I can work out, and instead of symptoms coming on like high heart rate or anything, I'm having shin pain when I go and run. I'm not worrying about fatigue. I'm worrying about like my shin, which is normal stuff. I'm having normal things occur to me, and it just feels good. Like if it
Mhm.
even this like shin pain, like I'm like, yes, it's great that I'm having shin pain. It's like, why? It's like because I'm not having chronic fatigue,
It's not CFS. It's
Yeah, I'm not
very different from
CFS.
CFS symptoms.
This
Yeah,
this
which is
like this I could
yeah.
solve, which I mean you could solve CFS as well, but yeah, like that's just the main thing.
That's awesome. So you're working part-time right now, you're working out, you're exercising, and you're able to live life um not from a place of hypervigilance anymore. Uh
Hmm.
you feel like trust in your body that it
Yeah,
can keep up with life,
yeah.
so physically things are a lot better. In terms of mentally and emotionally, how would you say things are different now? Because for me, that was one of the biggest things. I
Hmm.
found I was a lot more chill and relaxed getting back into the world. Like I didn't take things super seriously. I didn't overanalyze things as much. But how has it been for you coming into the world with this, I guess, new and improved mindset, like the 2.0 version of yourself?
Um, the new 2.0 version of myself is a lot more laid back. Well, but I've always been laid back. But the emotional part, well, it actually occurred during the recovery process, which I was not expecting at all. There was this time where in the beginning it was fatigue, fatigue, fatigue. I was just fatigued all the time. And then after the fatigue kind of went away or kind of subsided a little bit, I was having a lot of emotional and mood swings. Uh, thankfully, I didn't I didn't the mood swings didn't occur to anyone on the outside. That was it was all in here.
Mm,
But
yeah.
I would just have these extreme mood swings. I'm like, this isn't me. Like I don't know what's happening. But eventually, just keep on going through the process. I got through that as well, and now like anything can happen to me, and it's not the end of the world. Like it's just people. I see people get so frustrated or built up over the small things in life, and I'm like, you're healthy, you're still alive, you're still kicking it. Like there's nothing to stress about. Or truly to stress about.
Yeah.
It's helped me with softball because I'm noticing some
Ooh.
things about my softball slash baseball game that I didn't before. I was super impatient when batting, and now I'm trying to be more patient with it. Just certain stuff like that. Like I'm able to analyze life better, um, and yeah, I don't know. It's different. I'm still just experiencing this, but
Yeah.
I can tell it's different. I can't really
Hmm.
articulate it, which again, it's okay that I can't, because that was a part of the brain fog symptom. But
Yeah.
it's just better. I don't know exactly how to
Yeah.
put it.
Yeah, I think the way I describe it, and I wasn't able to even put this into words for the first couple years after I got out of the hospital. I only started making videos like 3 years later.
Mhm.
I think it was 3 years later. But now looking back, I realized it was kind of like going back into the world and seeing it through a different lens. It's like, you have different shades, there's different tints, different colors, and the world was just different. It was a little, I don't know, it was a little brighter, it was a little more positive, it was a lot less stressful, and
Yeah.
it's almost like you're experiencing the world through a different lens in a
Mhm.
way.
Yeah.
And now you have all these experiences to compare life to, especially when you feel like you're having a rough day, or funny says when somebody's complaining about something. For example, there was this one time I remember I was just coming out of the illness. I mean, I was 2 years actually. I was out of it. This person was like complaining about how the pillows at the hotel weren't soft enough. They're too hard. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm traveling, I'm going on vacation, but the pillows, they were so hard, man. They should replace those pillows. It just went on and on for like 5 minutes. I'm like, dude, there's people in the hospital right now who wish they could even walk, let alone get in a car and hop on a plane, fly somewhere, and sit on a beach somewhere. And you're complaining about pillows? So it's such a different perspective
Yeah.
you have on the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
But even for yourself, like if you're going through, challenging times, you could think, have I ever gone through another challenging time that was more difficult than this? Oh yeah. I went through something 100 times, 1,000 times harder than this. Like
Yes.
I always told myself, no matter what I'm going through, it's all a cherry on top. Because there was a time where in my brain, I had like a 0.001% chance of coming out of this illness. So I better be grateful for
Yeah.
anything I could get right now.
Yeah.
And that just made every challenging day instantly very easy and
Yeah.
turned into a great day. You
Yeah.
know, the perspective, being able to experience those trenches, you actually realize it's actually like a gift.
Exactly.
But you only realize that when you get to the other side. It's
Yeah. Like I,
definitely
I
not a gift living in it.
literally, I literally believe that this whole entire process is a gift. I explain it to some people sometimes. Like I'm still holding my breath. Like this is like a dream that came true, and I'm living it.
Yeah, that's what it feels
Don't
like.
don't like pinch me and like wake me up type deal. But yeah, like I truly believe that God, healed me through this program, and it's just a gift of healing, and I can't thank you, can't thank I just can't thank anyone enough for
Yeah.
this to happen in my life.
Well, I believe everything happens for a reason, and it all worked out the way it was supposed to work out. And even when you found us that first time, that just wasn't the right time. And there's so
Yeah, it
many other
wasn't.
people too. They find us and they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it." They're like midway through the application process, and they're like, "No, I'm gonna do it on my own for a little bit." And then 2 years goes by, and then they end up joining 2 years later. And they really haven't gotten better, and now they're even more prepared to just give this their all, you
Yeah.
know. And it turns out to be the perfect time because maybe it wouldn't have worked out as well as it did the first
Yeah.
time you came on board,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. It wouldn't have, because at that time I was still in school, and I wouldn't have been able to give it my 100%. And also, when I came to you guys, y'all were literally the last option. Like, we had just, I just gotten through this other healing program that didn't really work out. Um, my parents didn't know what to do, anything like that. And I just remembered, your content on YouTube. And I was like, you know what? Let's try it. Let's do it. And then even when I presented, my mom with like the pricing and everything, she's like, honestly, let's do it. Like, what else do we have to lose? Like,
Yeah.
yes,
And
yes,
that's how it was really the last option because both of your parents are in the health field and medical field. And I remember we were talking, they were like, so Miguel, what is your background? Like, where did you study medicine? Or do you have your doctor's degree? I was like, honestly, I don't have none of that. But I recovered myself. We helped hundreds of people recover. Here's what the plan is for Carson. Here's what we would do. Look at all our recovery stories. And they were like, you know what do we have to lose here?
Yeah.
Seems like they know what they're doing. Let's give it a
Yeah.
shot. And
Yes.
I guess it was a good thing, you know, they agreed to come along. So for you, where you're at right now, and this is for people watching this, what are some words of inspiration you want to share with them? Somebody who might have been in your shoes a year where you were a year or two ago, and they're starting to get down on themselves. They've had this for years and they're like, nothing is working. Uh, what are just some words of inspiration and encouragement for them to keep going and being somebody who's been in their shoes? What would you want to tell them?
That's tough because I don't know
I know there's
what.
so much to say, right?
Yeah, there is so much to say, and I'm trying to put myself back in the shoes of myself whenever I was going through this,
Yeah.
and because like I would see a testimonial video and I'd be like, "That's great for them," but there's no way it would work for me. Like mine's just way too severe. Like there's no way. Mine's different. I just say healing is possible, and there's nothing more that I can say. Like it worked for me. It's worked for hundreds of other people. So sincerely, give it a try. Literally, like if you're up against that brick wall and you don't know what else to do this program, please. And I
Mhm.
was one of those people who, I mean, I'm going to pharmacy school. Like I'm one of those people who believes in traditional medicine, the traditional way of getting better. But I also believe that there is some alternative ways to get better, and this is one of them.
Mhm.
Your brain's a powerful thing, and you can use it for your benefit and not for um, and not use it against you. So
Yeah.
that's about all I have to say. Obviously, there's way more, but to
Yeah.
concise it to that, I think it's the best way to put that.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And I always say that too. It's just, if there's even just a little bit of hope in there, obviously there's hope. If you guys are watching this video right now, we're like 50 minutes in, obviously there's some part of you that believes in recovery and you're
Yes.
looking for solutions and answers out there. Just know that there are some, there have been very severe people, just as bad as you, if not worse than you, who were hospitalized, who had this for 20, 30, 40 years, and they get their lives back. As long as you've ruled out any other health issues causing this, you've had your tests, your scans,
Yes.
and if the doctors don't really know what to do at this point and there is no plan in place, that's where we can come in and help. And you know watch as many YouTube videos as you can, educate yourself, try implementing it, and if you need the extra help, we're here for you guys. But just know that healing is possible. It's
Yes.
absolutely possible. Maybe 10 years ago it was way more rare, but now there are so many recovery stories online, and it's not like these people are aliens. Like, you're not an alien, Carson. You're just a human being,
You know.
just like everybody else. And we're not
Yeah.
perfect. We don't have this superpower.
Yeah.
It's just certain frameworks, certain strategies.
Yeah.
The human body has the amazing ability to heal itself, which is super, super cool. So, anything else you want to share with these folks, Carson? Or you pretty much covered everything?
Um, let me see. Um, no, I think that's about all. Yeah,
Well, you're
sounds
crushing it.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, you're crushing it. I
Yeah.
remember our first call like it was yesterday, and you, I feel like even a part of you was like, "Is this really gonna work? I don't really have a choice. I got to try something." And here we are, man.
Yeah.
And I remember telling you because I specifically remember saying, because you have a background in medicine and you've studied the stuff and you love learning, I was like, these things are gonna click for you. I
Yeah.
already know it because if you like studying and learning things and understanding, I think I said something like people with a medical background or even engineers are very analytical thinkers. They do really well because once this stuff it
Clicks.
clicks and it actually makes sense, a lot of the emotion goes out the window, and that's where pretty quick healing can happen.
Yeah.
So
One key thing that I'm just now remembering is when I first came and had the first call with you May of last year, you said that by the time the start of the new year would happen, you would be at least to a point of like functioning, like you would be almost healed basically, or like you'd be at that point. And I didn't believe you. I'll be honest with you, I did not believe you.
I
I
remember
heard
your
those
face when I
words.
told you.
You really? I heard that and I was like, ain't no way. I mean, like, I mean, I'm still gonna go through with the program, but I think it's gonna take at least a year, year and a half. You know, like that. That was my mindset, and you were right. I mean, by the new year, I was able to functionally do things on a regular basis, and I don't know. That's just crazy because like you were like prophesying almost. Like, no, you're good. I'm like, okay.
I do remember telling you, and your eyes just went like, huh? I was like, well, we don't have a rush to get there. I don't want to put any timelines. I'm just saying, based on what I've seen, but we won't rush it. But definitely within 12 months, you'll be pretty dang functional. You'll be good to go. Like we're
Yeah,
gonna be closing the chapter on CFS. But
yeah,
it's funny because yeah, just I've seen so many cases, and based on the symptoms and activity levels, even the mindset and how somebody comes into the call, I could kind of tell within like a 2 or 3 month period. Um, it's not a perfect prediction, but I guess I was pretty close
yeah,
with with your situation.
yeah.
So also you put
Absolutely.
in a lot of work too. So
Yeah.
got to give credit where credit's due.
Thank you.
My last question is, would you say overall it's been a good investment?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It was the best money that I spent, or my mom and dad spent. 'Cause, yes, it was
That's awesome,
definitely
man.
definitely. Yeah, the investment was definitely there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, hey, I appreciate your time today, and I'm sure the people watching this really appreciate it. And
Mhm.
Carson, huge inspiration because I've been seeing your wins since the beginning. Even though you didn't post as much, Junior was he was always updating us, saying that you're crushing it. So it's
Mhm.
so cool to see how far you've come. And the exciting thing is this is really just the start of your new life. I
Sure.
see it as like the plane is it hasn't even taken off the runway yet. Like it's
Yeah.
picking up speed, but it's going to be so cool to see where you're at 6 months from now, a year from now, and a few years from now. And now you have all these tools to pretty much live the best life that you can. I look at CFS, it's like the ultimate personal development crash course
Yeah.
because the only way to overcome it is you have to level up, you have to change
Yeah.
a lot of different things. You have no choice but to put in the
Yeah.
work. So now you have all these tools at the young age of 22, setting you up for the rest of your life. So it's been awesome, man. Really appreciate your time. If you guys got a lot of value out of this video, comment in the section below. What was your biggest takeaway? Or what did you resonate with? Did you experience similar symptoms to Carson? Or what was the big takeaway from this? And if you need any extra help in your recovery journey, you can apply to even see if we can help you. We go through a diagnostic assessment. We want to make sure you'd be a perfect fit and that we can actually solve this if we were to bring you on board. But I'll leave a link in the description below where you can answer that questionnaire. But always remember that you are a thriver and you are just one mind shift away from living life with thriving health. We'll see you guys in the next video. Carson, keep on crushing it, man. Thank you so much. And hopefully, I'll see you at one of the Thriver meetups in the future.
Let's say that CFS recovery is absolutely the real deal.
I actually felt like somebody had an answer, like somebody explained what was going on, and it all clicked.